What's up there, my dudes? Well, my dude, one person in here. Uh, I was watching Young Turks I've been watching a lot more lately because of their Iran war coverage. It's been pretty impeccable. I agree with them on that stuff on Israel pretty much down the line. And actually, I truly get a kick out of watching Cenk. He's actually very clever at repartee. Like I always thought he was kind of boorish, acting, exaggerating, you know, big puss, But watching his shows, Anna will say something and he will like whatever she says, click something in his head, and bam, he'll come out with like this sick ass comeback. It'll just like, and it's fast. He's very quick-witted, and they're pretty damn good comebacks. They really are. I would imagine it's because he feels so passionately about that subject. But I just never saw that side of him before. I never acknowledged it, I guess. Which he is a smart guy. I used to just say he wasn't all that smart. He is pretty smart. But you know, there's a there's only one, or I guess there's more than one adult white male on the show. But there's this one dude. He's the regular white guy, and he's a little effeminate. I'm not sure if he's gay or what, but he's very for a guy that's with the Democrat Party, he's actually not super he's actually kind of like a regular guy, just blue pilled, honestly. And he's quite passionate as well. And I heard him make this statement today where he was like refuting Stephen Miller, because Stephen Miller was talking about immigrants or these people, these illegals that are taking advantage of welfare benefits and this and that, or our Medicaid or whatever. And this guy takes it upon himself to, basically refute that. And, then he proceeds to start talking about how, you know, all these politics of division, how we're letting, the Republicans or these billionaires, which I know what he means by billionaires. He's talking about Israelis and Jays, but he says, that the Republicans with their immigration rhetoric and with billionaires, they just want to keep us divided and fighting amongst each other. And like, honestly, it made me want to it just made me want to fucking punch my TV. And it's just like, bro, how do you not see the irony in that statement, you asshole, you fucking unaware prick? Like, how dare you? You are so detached from reality, I guess, so out of touch. It's like, dude, the number one purveyor of division in this country is the Democrats. Like, who do you think? Like, dude, you're a white male. How can you even pretend like it's not the Democrats that keep us at each other's throats? Because it is. It is. I mean, there's a reason why he's like the only white male in the Democrat Party, because they're divisive. And it was pissing me off because Stephen Miller's talking about how these people are taking advantage of our social safety net programs, these illegals. And Homeboy refutes that. He comes out with, he's like, oh, well, there are studies that say, that these people, they don't even take advantage of our Medicaid and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, honestly, bro, that shit is beside the point, man. It is fucking beside the point, my dude, whether or not they do or don't. Whether or not they do or don't. Because those programs you're talking about, we pay for those. White men, we pay for those. And we're the only ones. We know that we're not getting a dime. We know that we're not going to get a dime off their welfare programs and shit. They're going to tax the shit out of us, and they're going to give it away. And it's like, something? If you would just stop discriminating against us, you evil bastards. You've for 2 decades, you have had it out for us. My entire adult life, you have shit on me and my other white men. You have just spent the last 2 decades shitting on us, telling us that we're gaslighting us, telling us that we can't, what we're seeing with our lying eyes, it's not the truth. And it's just so galling. It's like, how you guys spend 2 decades bashing and talking and then you wanna pretend like you didn't create that division, and that you aren't turning minorities against us and us against minorities. Because when they discriminate against us with all the social programs or any government benefits, whether it be grants or because you can get grants for businesses and shit, but grants, scholarship, anytime they're giving anything out, we're the only ones that get excluded. And it's like, I wouldn't be totally against all these things. I wouldn't really probably be against them at all if they didn't discriminate against me specifically. It's like, why have you made an enemy out of us? You fucking idiots. Why have you made an enemy out of us? Why do you make us or why do you you're doing a wealth transfer. You're taking money from me and you're giving it to somebody else. And when those things are meant for people that are struggling, they're not meant for different colored people. They're not meant for only one gender and specific colored. No, no. You've just spent the last half century telling us how discrimination is terrible and how everybody should get a fair and equal opportunity and equal. Well, yo, I'm here to claim that. I'm here to claim what's in my rights according to you Democrats. You are the ones that have been telling us for the last half a century that discrimination is evil and that all this stuff is for the benefit of all, for those that are struggling. What does my fucking gender and my skin color have to do with it? I mean, seriously, I want to rip this motherfucking party down. Like, tear these bastards down. Like, yo, you guys don't get to be an American party and just exclude us, the biggest demographic in the whole country. It's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. It can't continue. It has to change. And I'm just making my positive case for me specifically from my angle, my point of view. I'm not, I'm going to talk about this later, but like how much they would benefit by embracing the white men again. How much, dude, they would probably have like they would not they would not lose power for a decade at least. If they stopped discriminating against me and all the other white guys, they would be in power for a decade. They would have, if they would just stop discriminating against us and quit trying focusing on 1% populations like trans people. Like, bro, why are you even talking about them? Most of the country, most of the events that happen, most of anything that goes on in America, anything, it affects us the most. Straight up, it affects us the most. Us and white women, we're the biggest demographic. So when anything happens, the biggest impact it has, or the biggest group of people that it impacts, is us and white women. And it's like, why? Why can't why do you have to make us an enemy? Why do you have to pit the minorities and make it seem like we're trying to take away from them? Like, why do you have to do that? I mean, yeah, I would like deportations and stuff, but that doesn't mean that you have to drop that you can't be an advocate for minorities. Like, they could do all of that and still do right with deportations. Obama did it, bro. He did a great job. I remember seeing ICE at the jails picking people up if they got caught with weed. Hey, sorry, man. You can't be here on a visa and commit a crime, bro. Got to go home. Like, they can do that. That's what our fucking laws say. Why are they need, and they're out of control because we aren't in the party. Because the only people in the party are insane women, radical minorities, and foreigners. Bro, if we started voting in those parties again, dude, they would have a dramatic shift rightward. A dramatic shift rightward. And that would move the Overton window. That would, bro, that would have a huge effect on the female population. If Democrats moved to the right, I mean, women would follow them. Women would follow them. They're only all the way out there, way out on the left, because the Democrats have been They've gone over there, and they've only gone over there because we left that party, and I've said this before in videos, we left that party, and it might have been the worst thing we ever did, was leaving that party. I mean, and it's kind of on us. Like, I wish that, uh, the boomers and the greatest generation or the silent generation, I wish that they had thought a little bit more long game when they were politicking, because they left the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party, shifted its focus a little bit and started. And I remember this with Obama. It started to focus a little bit more on, because I remember white parents and people, white older people that voted for Obama, because Democrats were white people too, white men as well. Like dads. I remember dads voting for this shit. My friend Terrell, his old man voted for that. I mean, he was a fucking, he's just a regular white dude. Anyway, it went sideways after Obama because white men felt kind of like left out, and rightful, of course they did. We're the biggest demograph and the biggest ethnic group, and we're used to getting, the attention, or at least at that time, white men were used to getting the attention. They were. It's just that simple. They were used to getting the attention, and when the Democrats slightly shifted focus, well, that probably felt pretty dramatic to the men of that time. It probably felt like, whoa, they're really leaving me out. Whereas to us, imagine if the Democrats went back to treating us how they treated those guys pre 2008. Bro, it would feel like it would feel like amazing. It would feel like, oh my God, somebody's actually talking positive about us and like concerned about us struggling and shit. Like what felt kind of, unfair to the white men back then because they were used to being the number one, the main ethnicity. Bro, it's gonna feel 1,000 times better because we haven't felt that in decades, bro. We don't know what it's like to be to be seen by a political party. Nobody younger than me, anyway. We have no idea what it's like for a party to actually advocate for us. Because the GOP, I mean, they do, but they kind of don't. They're concerned with their donors, they're not concerned. Like they didn't do any the deportations, bro. They barely made an effort, and the effort they made was just this token bullshit effort where they just made headlines by shooting people and beating people up. And then they do tax cuts and shit. Well, it's like, we may as well just it's like neither party is representing us. We may as well just not be voting, because the Republicans, all they're concerned about are the Jays and the donors, the Israeli donors. Those are the people that they're concerned with. At least on the left, they hate those motherfuckers like we do. They hate those sons of bitches. We don't ever have to worry about them focusing on Israel over us. We just have to get our foot in the door of that party. And I mean, I believe that's what's fixing to happen here in this midterm, but we need to get ready for this. We need to, and get a game plan together, understand what's going on here, because this is a huge blind spot for the Democrats. I guarantee you, if they had somebody approach them and just set the table, lay it out like, yo, you have nothing, you only have to gain by embracing us again. You're only going to gain power. They have nothing but power or nothing but they have nothing to lose. They're not in power. They have absolutely nothing to lose. It's like, and it doesn't mean you stop advocating for women and shit. You just start advocating for us too. Because they've been giving women all these freebies for years. There's nothing left for them to give. There's nothing left for them to give to those people. But you know what? They've taken so much from us. They could give us a little bit of it back, and we would be fucking pleased as punch for that shit. We would be like, what? Yeah, like, and you know something? It's as simple as this, bro. How about this? How about let let people that are struggling collect EBT or unemployment, whether they be a male, female, white, black, Asian, who gives a shit? But when If I lose my job, it would be nice if you know those programs covered me too. Seeing how I fucking pay for them, which I we all do. We do. You know we make we have the second highest income on average, and we're the largest ethnicity by far. We make up 60% of the population, men and women. It's like we pay our fucking fair share, but we're not getting anything for it. And you know something? They're constantly harping. People are talking about, oh, white men, they're not trying anymore, you know? White men are struggling, this and that. Well, you know what? Maybe if you stop discriminating against us, white men will start trying again. I guarantee you that the younger guys, the Gen Z, they would get up off their asses if they felt like it was, if they had something to gain, if they felt like it wasn't all so fucking tiresome. It's so tiresome. You can't, it's, you just feel like you can't get ahead. You have one party, your absolute nemesis, your fucking enemy to the death. They have just set themselves up as just this anti-white male thing. And it's like, why? But why? Why are you doing this? This doesn't make sense. I mean, they would gain so much, and it's not like they would have to screw all those other constituents over to please us or to bro, they're discriminating against us so hard, and they have us so cut out of everything in the government, the jobs in the government, uh you know, of any of the social safety net stuff, you know, overwhelmingly Medicare and stuff, none of that is for men. Almost no men get Medicare or Medicaid or whatever, whichever the one is. You don't have to be retired to have. Almost no men have it. It's strictly for foreigners and women. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? Why? Why are you doing this? Men work. You know, we don't really need the welfare, but it would be nice for it to be available if we did need it. That would be fucking nice. It would be nice if our fucking government, you know, we actually stood to benefit from it instead of just getting screwed by it over and over, year after year. Like it's been 2 decades, Democrats. You've systematically taken it all from us. Okay? We have nothing left. Do you think you could stop discriminating against us now? We're not in power. We're not in control of any fucking institutions. We don't have any of the special jobs. We have no jobs of authority. We have zero fucking power. Zero political power. Like, bro, can you give us a fucking break, man? Can you give us a break? Or do we have to be the villain of everything? Is that just our lot now? That's our lot. I mean, it's bullshit. It's like if that's the case, then you guys need to go. You know, y'all need to just fucking just go away and just the politicians that are in there now, like this shit has to change, man. This is absolutely unacceptable. We have guys that are adults nowadays that know nothing else. They don't know what it feels like for to have a political party advocate on their behalf. They don't know what it feels like to actually feel like you belong to a community. Since I've been an adult, it's been nothing but radical individualism for us, man. That's what we have. That's what we've had. Where we are left on our own. It's like, you know, we're going to have a huge social safety net program for these people over here, but you guys over there, radical individualism for you. You better fucking work hard. You know, you better figure it out because we ain't giving you a fucking dime. And no churches don't do charity anymore. You ain't getting charity, homeboy. You just shit out of luck, bro. You SOL, man. Go ahead, break your leg. It ain't gonna make no difference. You're just gonna be fucking limping around at the job. That's your lot, bro. And this shit is unacceptable, man. Why? Why does that have to be our lot? What the fuck did we do? And have we not paid for it by now? It's been 2 decades. You know, and it's just ridiculous. It's like they've made themselves the anti-American party because we're, you know, somewhat patriotic and stuff, so they have to set themselves up you know, like they could just go back to normal and actually deport people when they fucking get arrested. They don't have to do this crazy shit. They would lose some of the crazy leftists like AOC and shit, but they would gain so many men. It would more than make up for it. More than make up. I mean, yo, they would be sitting pretty, man, if they just said, if they came out and said, look, we're not going to discriminate against white men anymore. And perhaps, I mean, we're gonna make an effort to include them. We're not promising fucking miracles overnight, but we are going to make an effort to include them and to not leave them out. Bro, people would vote. People would vote for them. We're tired of this shit. Dude, we have just gotten the shaft all the way around, man. And leaving the Democrat Party, it made it worse, not better. It made it worse, man. We're getting this shaft with this fucking Iran horse shit and these Jays because of that shit, because we left the Democrat Party. Bro, if we went, if like, who do we have to talk to to bargain with, to who do we have to talk to parlay with these sons of bitches? Like, there has to be like a price. What is their price? What do they demand? What do they want? I think it might be reasonable to deal with these guys. All I know is, man, I'm just sick and tired of getting nothing, bro, or getting taken from, having shit taken from us. Like the motherfucker, that dude talking about, oh, minorities, they don't get, or these illegals, they're not taxing our welfare programs, they're not taxing our Medicaid programs. That shit is totally moot. And I wish I was there, right there, to refute that son of a bitch, to give him a rebuttal, because I was like, guess what, bro? That's not the problem. Oh, okay, so they're not taxing our Medicaid program. That I don't care. I still want them out. I still want you to deport them. When they ask me why, I'm going to say, because this is my fucking country. I have sovereignty over this country. They have sovereignty over their country where they live, back home. Why should they get two countries? I have one country. I can't just go off to some other country and that country let me in and take care of me and give me a home. No, I'm here in America. This is where I get to live out my life. I don't get, Italy ain't taking me in. Japan isn't taking me in. China's not taking me in for damn sure. None of these other countries are taking me in. So how are you telling me that it's fair that not only do these people have India, not only do these people have Mexico, but they get America too? Where's my country? Where the hell is my country for my people? Mexicans have Mexico, and they don't let white people, that they're like throwing all the patriots out. It's like India. I couldn't go to India and start saying, "Oh, you're discriminating. How dare you?" They threw all the white people out when they took out their independence. It's like, why is my government neglecting me and then favoring a foreign group of people? They have their own government of their own people looking out for their well-being. Why the fuck is my government doing that too? And I want, like that guy that on Young Turks that was talking about, it's like, bro, that's none of your fucking business, dude. Those people, they're in another country. Those people aren't your business. So you know what is your business? Me, motherfucker. I'm your country. I'm a countryman. I'm one of your countrymen. Like, your fucking job is to cater to me, not to that guy. He has a government. They all have governments already. Why are you advocating on their behalf? What in the hell? Like, who the hell set this shit up? This isn't right. It's got to change. It's got to change. Bro, these people have all their own country. Venezuelans have Venezuela, Brazilians have Brazil, Africans have Africa. Bro, I want my government back. I want my government to be concerned with me again. Stop being concerned with these people that they're not even American citizens. But it's like, as soon as they cross our border, that's the Democrats' number one priority, is these sons of bitches. Bro, you have people here you're neglecting. Like, oh my God, bro. I'm starting to think like maybe I do need to do politics, because this is bullshit. Nobody is articulating these sentiments. Nobody gives a shit about us, and it's got to stop. It's got to change. It's not right, man. Why are we getting screwed so hard by these sons of bitches? Why are they just ignoring us? We pay all the damn taxes. Oh, We pay it all pretty much. None of these other groups are net tax benefits. They're none of our next net tax um bonanzas. They're not net tax positives. They're negatives. They're net negatives. They're a drain. So are the women. And it's like, bro, I don't have a problem with paying for this shit, but I do have a problem paying for it and then not getting squat for my troubles. No, not it's not just squat. I'm getting actively discriminated against. Dude, like, and that's why, the last 6 months, I'm like, bro, if they keep trying us, we're gonna burn it all down. Like, bro, fine then. You leave us no choice then. It's all got to go then. Because, like, what other choice do we have? I mean, they're going to recognize us, or if we aren't getting our due propers, then nobody's getting them motherfuckers. Why the hell, back in the day, it was like a century ago, more than that, or whatever, when people were, living on their own and there was no welfare system and you had to go out and kill possums and shit to feed your family in the winter. Bro, when your family was like pretty much starving, or you were just the only thing you got, you and your family, you, your wife and kids were eating was whatever you caught out in the wild that day. Whatever you shot or caught with a fishing line. That's what you and your family was eating at the end of the day. And there was literally, there was like they had when they passed out the food, when they passed out the helpings, you know, the father got his first. The father got his first, then the dog gets his second, the hunting dog. And then the little boy gets his third. And then the little girl, the daughter, she gets fourth, and then the mom gets, or the granny, whoever was old, if they had old folks with them, which was a lot of times they did. The mother ate last, bro. The mother ate last and got the worst piece. The father ate first because he hunted that shit. He brought that shit home. Without him, nobody's eating. I mean, and science is, bears this fact out. Like, if the man needs to eat his helping, because what happens is if the man foregoes eating so that the kids can eat, he ends up starving faster, or starving when he wouldn't have, dying off, and then the rest of the family quickly dies, starves to death thereafter. So it's no, you absolutely, that is absolutely right for the father to eat first. And it's not like he gets half the food, he just gets a little bit bigger of a helping, that, and that's all, because he has to go out and expend the calories to get the shit. But that's the only way to survive. The man has they have to, he is the engine, so they have to keep him nourished. And the rest of the family, they're not going out and doing a whole lot, so really they can get by on very small amounts. But this is known, this is facts. This is shit that we know, that you can look up, you can ask Grok. Grok will tell you this. That if the father allows himself to become malnourished, the rest of the family will die. I mean, that is him falling down on the job. It is his job to stay nourished so that he can get more food. And that should be the way it is for everything. That's how it needs to be with our government and with, benefits. And so it's like, yo, we need, yeah, women have their job, but I'm talking about men. Men, we are the ones that are paying for all these programs, and they're actually discriminating against us. That's a problem. That's a real problem. That's not right. Like, what fucking incentive do we have to keep paying into this, when not only does do they discriminate against us, and they just give this money away to people who aren't earning it, who haven't earned it, and then they get those people like used to being on those programs, or they get those where those people start taking it for granted, and they start asking for more, or forcing, or expecting more, and then they have to take more money from us, so that or they start bringing in more foreigners, and then they have to take a bigger cut from us, and it's like, yo, that shit ain't working, man. And they wonder why that men aren't really doing shit anymore. Like, we're not participating. Men aren't going out and working their asses off anymore. It's like, what's the point? We don't get anything from it. It's like we can work our asses off but we won't get our money's worth. For the amount of time we worked, we won't get our money's worth. We don't end up with a family, and we sure shit don't get a fucking dime from the government. It's like, so what incentive do we have to earn other than to give us ourselves the bare minimum? It's ridiculous. Like, who the fuck came up with this and who thought this was a good idea? It's dumb. There's a damn good reason why, men aren't trying, because we're not getting nothing for it. We're doing all the work and we're not getting any of the benefits. We get discriminated in all the different industries. We get discriminated against by all the good jobs, the good careers. By our own government discriminates against us. The conservatives, they don't do shit about it. Like, they just don't discriminate against us actively, but they're the same as the Democrats, just without the discrimination. No, we need to. And not only do we need to go back to where, like, the Democrats aren't discriminating against us, but if they actually started, advocating for us and on our behalf, the GOP would have to fucking step up. They would have to actually fight for us and compete for us. They couldn't just get our vote and walk away and then go piss all of our money and spend all of our blood and treasure on fucking Jays in Israel. This shit, it's absolutely unacceptable, and nobody is speaking up on our behalf. It's like everybody's just, the guys have given up, so all the people that would be speaking up for us, if it was, 30, 40 years ago, they think that there's nothing, it's what for? Those people aren't doing anything. Why should I stick up for that? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? They don't even stick up for themselves. Why would I stick up for them? They can't even speak up for themselves. It's like, bro, we need leaders. We need thought leaders. We need people that are going to advocate on our behalf, that are going to go to bat for us, that are going to, they're going to have us in mind. We can't just have 30% of our population totally disregarded by our government and by all of our institutions. They're disregarding their biggest demographic, and their most deserving demographic, the demographic that contributes the most, and they're totally ignoring and neglecting us. And then they're like focusing on and they're putting all their attention and focus on people that aren't doing anything for our country, that aren't helping the country. And if we can get these people to see the light, and start advocating for us, at some point we'll be, or maybe this midterm, or maybe in 2028, people white men can start running for a Democrat office again. Like, instead of all just having these shit ass white boomers in office, 'cause that's really all we get, man, is older white men, and Jays and like I was saying yesterday, we're being ruled by a lot of Jays, man, because we've been run out of politics. All of the Me Too and the fucking DEI, all that shit ran us out of politics because we became persona non grata, pariahs. We're lepers. We're the leper colony, my dudes. We are the leper colony. We should wear that shit proudly too, because we have to get we still have the burden of performance. We're still kind of holding everything up, fixing roads, and doing power lines and shit. And like, this has got to stop. Like I said, we're being ruled by white male boomers, and then anything below boomer, it's all minorities and women. Well, and then Jays. Like I was saying yesterday, we're half of our fucking ruling class is Jays, man. Well, let's displace these cocksuckers. Let's get in there and throw our weight around and start pushing them out and shit. Like, yo, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to start thinking in terms of displacement again. Because, dude, that's literally the human story, is people's rising and displacing and falling and shrinking. That's what they do. They get bigger and push each other out of, like the Indians in America before white people came. Dude, people like, the Black Hills, the Lakota and shit. Bro, that area, the Black Hills, changed hands like 10 times before the Lakota got it. And bro, that needs to be the fucking the thrust and the orientation that we adopt going forward, man. We need to start thinking in terms of demography, size, ethnicity. Start displacing these motherfuckers because we can displace them. We're like 30% of the country. Bro, we can get in and start occupying political offices, man. And like if we did that, our lives would improve, man. Our lives would visibly improve as white men if we started playing hardball again. If we started running for office, if we started voting for Democrats and started holding their feet to the fire, like we could absolutely, improve our lot, improve our lives, and actually get something out of our government. Because right now they're not giving us diddly squat, and they've just been taking from us. But they have been shortchanging us so hard for the last 2 decades that all we would have to do is get them to let up their no Vaseline screwing us. Just get them to stop screwing us, and our lives would improve. We would notice an improvement. It's because they're actively against us. That's the problem here. And it's they like I said, they would not have to. It wouldn't be a zero-sum game. They wouldn't have to take shit from other people to give it to us. No, if you just took a little less. You know what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't even have to take stuff. They would just have to take from us a little bit less. Just be a little bit less of government crooks, bureaucratic crooks. I mean, I just really feel like, we have just been ignoring. We've just been leaving a lot of money, a lot of political capital on the table. And DEI and Me Too, that shit is over. That shit is over. And right now, while there's this anti-J sentiment in the country, we need to get while the getting's good. Bro, right now, if we joined forces, we could boot these people out of our country. If we join forces with these people on the left, because they fucking hate them. They hate them. They hate them as much as we do, if not more. Bro, if we locked arms with these guys, we could toss these sons of bitches out of our country. We could run them out of this country if we join forces. Bro, mark me. We could do it, man, because they are already thinking that. Believe me, if they could do it, if they could have done it, they would have. The Democrats and the left, they hate these bastards because they're the billionaires and shit. If that's who we're talking about, because when the Democrats say billionaires, bro, they're talking about Miriam Adelson and fucking uh what's his name? Elliot something, whatever. The ones that Nick's always talking about. So, like, could you imagine if we had all the other people, all the left on our side, bro? That we could make it really uncomfortable for those people to live in this country. We could make it extremely un intolerable. Where they just don't want to live in this country anymore. To me, that sounds like a plan to me, because these people are just doing us so dirty. They're screwing us. And they're ruling us. They're pissing down our back and telling us it's raining and shit. And we've really let down. We've really dropped the ball when it comes to advocating for ourselves. We haven't been doing it. We don't even complain. You see women on TikTok and shit, all these different people that go on TikTok and complain. We don't never see white men on there complaining. You don't never see that, dude, bitching and moaning about their lot in life. We just take it and keep moving. Okay, well, it's time that that's not a bad way to be. It's a good way to be. We shouldn't be complaining and being little bitches. But instead of just running off to our little corners, like Nick Fuentes his stream, running off to that stream and like commiserating together. No, let's sound off, man. Like we fucking got a pair, bro. Do we not? Are we or are we not the sex that has the nut satchel? Do we have the stones? I mean, are we just gonna roll over and just keep taking this, man? Like, because I get the boomers did that and shit, but like we need to stand up and start speaking out like, no, this is unacceptable. We do have political fucking power. We do have political weight. If this keeps going, if you keep doing this shit, we're gonna make it really. we're just going to make it difficult. We're going to start throwing you sons of bitches out of office, the Democrats too. All we have to do is just go for incumbents, and if we meaningfully vote for them in the midterms, white men will start running again. And like I said, this, if we want to make things better, I think this is actually the most bang for our buck we can get. Because first of all, it's democratic. That's a dream that can come true. You don't have to have money. You just put yourself in the running for political office. You don't have to be rich or special. Anybody can do that. And you build up your following and shit, but this is a dream that can come true. We have a better chance of taking control of some of the political levers, the levers of power. We have a better chance of getting some advocacy out of the Democrat Party than we do of making, all becoming millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been thinking, how the hell do we get out of this situation? Well, the answer is certainly not just every man for himself. Try to, use your fucking intellect and crawl up out of the fucking the cesspool or the primordial ooze. Become rich. We'll all become content creators and become rich. No, that's not how it's gonna. No, that's not even realistic. That's absolutely not realistic. But what is realistic is we can use our votes strategically and get Democrats to start thinking of us again. We've just totally left this entire realm of advocacy, this entire realm of power, just totally untapped. We barely scratched the surface. That guy Tellerico won. I mean, he won in Texas. They have a lot of. He's the senator. I mean, he won in Texas. That we can do that. We can do as good as him. And imagine if we were talking just the good old blue dog Democrat shit. If we weren't talking about trans people, bro, we would win Democrat elections. We would win those fucking elections. I mean, and if we didn't, at least we would start to get our foot back in the door. Maybe and maybe we didn't win that. We don't win the first ones because maybe a lot of people don't turn out and vote Democrat. But certainly we could get the ball rolling. But the answer isn't radical individualism. It's collectivizing. Radical individualism, like where you get nobody, you're totally atomized as an adult. You don't have nobody helps you, and that's what the government did. It tricked all these women, and it tricked us into thinking that we don't need a relationships anymore. We don't need family members, a family anymore. We don't need a safety net of people in our lives because, you know, the government will, that we can get everything we need from services and subscriptions in the government. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can go to a nursing home when you're older, but I don't think that's a good idea, especially because they're staffing them with people from foreign people that don't even celebrate Christmas. But it's just it's all the government. They're trying to get us to where we atomize ourselves, that we don't, because people, they don't talk to their parents and shit. People live on their own. So when they're in a pickle, they don't have anybody to turn to except the government. And that's what the government wants. I mean, they'd like it if we only had them, because and the women, they already rely on the government like that. We don't, we rely on our own sweat of our own brow. But like this radical individualism, it makes getting along in the world as a white man in America, it makes it unrealistic. It makes it demoralizing. It makes you feel alone. It makes you feel like there's no point in even trying. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it just gives this bleak outlook. And like that radical individualism, it's bullshit, man. Where, oh, I can't, my car broke down. Oh, well, it looks like I'm gonna have to take Uber to work. Like, bro, you should like you the government is getting us to cut all of our relationships and all, people used to be close to their families. They used to have wives, they used to have friends and shit that they could rely on if they needed help. Well, they've got us to just sit on our computers and just be friends with people on the internet. So when we actually need help or we need somebody to talk to, they're not there. And we're just, we're stuck on the internet. Well, the radical individualism for us, it's not working. Like we're getting by, but we're not flourishing. Like, and life, a way of life, like, man, politics is totally a part of that, and we have just been total like a two-party system just doesn't work if the other party sees you as the villain, or if you have absolutely no sway in one of the parties, or you're not you know what I mean? The two-party system fails to work. It falls back to basically being a one-party system at that point. And like I'm trying to offer solutions here. Like we can change our law, we can make things better, but we have to start using these neglected sources of power these sources that we're neglecting. We've just totally walked away from the Democrat Party, and now the GOP, they don't and the GOP, they're not really a positive party where like you can get anything out of them. It's like really all you get from the GOP is they take less. They take less. You don't get anything from them when you vote for the GOP, or at least we don't, but they take less. Well, you know, that's not acceptable. We deserve more than that. We pay the bulk of the fucking taxes here. We deserve more than that. That's absolutely unacceptable. And we can demand better than that. We deserve better than that. And like how can they defend just discriminating against us? They're supposed to be the good people, the tolerant people. They can't defend that. And like, like whether or not these foreigners are using our Medicaid or not, it's unacceptable because they're taking our like we don't like these people. They have a different way of life. They're not assimilating. That's a fact. You look around, you can see they're not assimilating. Our way of life is changing. Like people, they're coming with different values and shit, changing our way of life. No, we have absolutely every right. We're totally within our rights to demand, you know, for our government to protect our way of life and to protect our status and our in the de facto the way of life we have and the hierarchy that we have in this country. We are absolutely within our rights to demand better. And we have just really, we retreated from it 20 years ago. We retreated from whole half of our country's politics, one half of our entire body politic. And I'm here to say is, the answer isn't for us to retreat more from society. It's for us to start getting more involved in society. We've got to do it, man. We've got to do it. Bro, us as a people and our way of life, it's going to disappear if we don't start asserting our dominance, asserting our possession of the country. If we don't start displacing the Jays for one, these people have been fucking us sideways for 20 years. If we don't start playing hardball and start boxing them assholes out and get in the paint and start boxing them out, man, we're just not gonna, we're gonna be like the runt of the litter. We're going to get fucking squeezed off the tip every time it's time to eat. And you know what happens to the runt of the litter? They fucking die, man. They can't eat. They fucking starve to death and they die. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at like a starving that kind of extinction. We're just gonna stop having sex and we're just gonna starve to death. We're just gonna starve off and fucking wither on the vine. And like homeboy that just said he has a 17-year-old son, bro, your son, he's gonna wither on the vine if we don't do something about this. Like, I'm not saying that to like scare you, but like that's what's happened to my generation and every generation after me. We've just withered on the vine. Well, man, we need to start getting involved again and start sounding off. Start speaking up when we're getting neglected. It's that simple, man. I mean, nobody the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Nobody's going to speak up for us, and it's our fault. If we're not willing to speak up on our own behalf, then why should anybody else? God helps those that help themselves. It's important that we go about life that way with that in mind, with that point of view. Really is. But hook a brother up with a like if you would. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't, if you're not subscribed already. Um, you know, like I'm starting to need to do a show every day at this time, and I kind of want to see if maybe I can get more followers from a different time slot. But it's like I kind of feel it's necessary to do a midday show because I have something to say. but I'm gonna start doing a midday show at least 2 times every week, like maybe Tuesday and Thursday or Monday and Wednesday, something like that. But at least 2 times throughout the week, the work week. Most likely, I'm gonna try and do it 5 days a week though. Actually, like I do the, and also I do a show. I'm sure most of you know, but I do a show in at night. We do a reaction stream and watch. Do a couple of an hour or two monologue. About what is on my mind, what the hell is bothering me, what current events are on my mind, and then and then we do kind of a reaction thing to for Nick, and so like I'm definitely I'm starting. Feel the need to start doing more content, feel the need to start fleshing out my channel and start, taking advantage of some of the other formats, some of the other like shorts and videos and stuff, but also um different things like memberships and stuff. Like I'm going to be putting in a lot more effort going forward, a lot more content, and I'm going to start editing my streams down and doing bite-sized stuff. My language has gotten better too. I'm not cussing so much. With first week when I was on here, like really the first week that I started doing, well, man, I just cussed like a dang sailor. It was awful. I kind of winced when I would listen to it, play it back. It made me wince. Like, ugh, so low class. But anyway, yeah, I think that's about it for this afternoon. I just wanted to do a quick hour long rant, real quick. I just, this I really feel like this is the way forward. We have to change. We have to do something. And we there's a lot of untapped ground, a lot of you know, uh, absolutely touched. It's we abandoned this land, so to speak, this fertile ground years ago. We need to fucking start plowing it again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the rant, and if you didn't like already, if it'd be great if you would, and I'll be back on later on this evening, and looking forward to seeing you guys there as well. But until then, as far as I know, he's on tonight. Yeah, and actually, I'll go through the chats. Yeah, we can do a damn sight better than we've been doing, man. These everybody else, they're always screaming and hollering about how they're being neglected, and we're the only ones that ain't doing that, man. And we're the only ones that get the shaft over and over and over. And you can see it, man. We're in Iran right now. What the fuck, man? And this is a byproduct. This is a symptom of us having retreated from the Democrat Party. This is an absolutely a direct byproduct of that. I mean, and if we want, if we want our lives to improve, if we want more, if we want what's owed to us, then we need to speak up and tell it and say it. Say it like, yo, we have votes that you guys are leaving on the table. Don't you like being in control of the government, Democrats? Fucking persuade us. Work for our vote. We're giving you a fair opportunity here. If you'll just be reasonable, if you just pledge to not discriminate against us, even if you don't give us anything, if you just stop neglecting us, stop specifically keep writing us out of everything where we get nothing or we get only get taken from. If you just quit discriminating against us so hard, we would be willing to give you our vote. And I know you guys feel the same way. We're in a tough spot. We aren't getting anything for our vote. And all these other people are. They're getting all kinds of stuff for their votes. And it's like, yo, you know something? If they would just stop discriminating against us, stop making us the boogeyman, we would be open to voting for them. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I am tired of radical individualism. I'm tired of being discriminated against. I'm tired of everything the Democrats do being aimed at me, being aimed at me being the victim of it, them taking from me. I'm tired of it. And us not voting for the Democrats has given them full license to just totally make the villain out of us. What do they care? They're not getting votes from us. We're not helping them maintain power. Why should they care about us? Why shouldn't they make us the villain? It's like we abandon them, and so they abandon us. We shouldn't expect any different. And if we want better, we're just gonna have to stand up and speak out, man, and get real, get serious, play both sides of the fucking line of scrimmage here. And like I said, we need to start displacing these Jays, man. We're being ruled by these people. They think we're Marx. Fucking Trump goes out and defends Mark Levin, like literally glazing Mark Levin, slurping on his little micro pecker. Like, no, this is unacceptable, man. These people got to go. They're like this little pissant fucking 1 or 2% of our population. Bro, we can fucking run these assholes, tar and feather these assholes and run them on out of town. Run them out of town on fucking rails, I say. We can run these assholes out of town if we actually make an effort. Like I said, dude, think if we locked arms, if we joined forces with the left, they hate these people and they would help us run them out of our country. They would help us disenfranchise these billionaires. They hate these fucking Jays. Dude, they hated them before we hated them. So why aren't we joining with them and being like, yo, let's change some shit. Let's get rid of these anti-Semitism laws. Let's get in there and start mixing it up and start trading blows with these assholes. I'm sick of getting the shit end of the stick, man. And Democrats, whether we like it or not, these people, they are good at politics, man, to a certain degree. Why they're always getting the best of us. Okay. I want those guys working on behalf of me going forward. I'm tired of getting these fucking stuffed shirt rhinos. Damn it, I want the guys who are fucking Machiavellian and who are going to stop at nothing, that are going to be ruthless when they advocate on my behalf. I want fucking ruthlessness, because ruthlessness from one party will get ruthlessness from another party. Iron sharpens iron, and we need to start demanding this from these bastards. They owe us this. And if they don't give it to us, then we start running in their offices and we start competing with these people. There's no reason why we should have ceded this ground. This is our goddamn country. That is our party. The Democrat Party is not an Indian people's party. It's not a woman's party. It's a fucking American party. And that means it's a white American party, because we are the biggest ethnicity. We are the fucking majority. That means both parties should be our parties. It's unacceptable that the majority is the villain of one party. It's unacceptable. We never put up with it before. There's no reason why we should have to put up with it right now. Maybe, the times when we left, that was the times, that was 2008, and between 2008 and 2020. Hey, DEI sucked, man. We got thrown out of all the damn we got thrown out of all the institutions. All the corporations threw our asses out. Okay, well, hey, it's time we get in there and start fucking and getting what's ours, what's due to us. And maybe we won't get discriminated against so much. We can start enacting laws that make it illegal to discriminate against white men too. Right now, the conservatives, they have no appetite for advocating for us. They have no appetite for making our lives better. Their appetite is to make the Jays' lives better, because they have all the billionaires on their side. So they can get the donor money, and get these fucking asshole conservatives to give them all the treats, all sorts of treats and sweets and all kinds of good shit. We get nothing, okay? We get nothing. Well, I tell you this, I may agree with the GOP on a lot of things, but you know what? Where I don't agree with them on, and where I do agree with the Democrats? The Jays. The Jays. I would say, like I've started to watch the Young Turks, and I like the show now. I mean, they haven't been talking about anything other than Iran and the Jays lately. So I've really been enjoying it. I don't really like it when they get into, they start bashing white men, or start, doing this fucking identity politics, or doing it for the minorities. I don't see that very much though, but it's since I've been watching it and started enjoying it, it started to occur to me, like, wait a second, these people are humans too. These people are not so bad. Cenk isn't so bad. He is an American. He's more American than Ben Shapiro. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact, man. He is more American than Ben Shapiro is. So you know what? I want to throw my lot in with Cenk over Ben all day long. If Ben Shapiro, that asshole, he has control of the conservatives. Well, fuck the conservatives then. Fuck them. Anna Kasparian and Cenk, I don't agree with them on everything. I don't really agree with them on a lot of the welfare stuff, because, as it stands, the status quo, when it comes to welfare, they're taking from white men and giving to minorities. But if we made it to where they stopped discriminating against us, we could, it wouldn't be a zero sum game where they were taking from us to give to other people. If we were included in the people who can get welfare if they lose their job or whatever, then it wouldn't be so bad. It'd be like, well, at least if I'm paying, we're going to pay for it regardless. And at least if we're paying for it, let's at least have it at our disposal where we can benefit from it as well. I mean, I wouldn't be against the welfare. We're not getting rid of social safety nets, these social welfare programs. We're not getting rid of them. They're never going to let them go. Okay, well, the next best thing is that we can benefit from them too. If we're going to pay for it, we should damn well benefit from it as well. There's no reason why it should just be an out and out wealth transfer where we get none of the fucking benefits, but they take all of the money to pay for those benefits from us. It's a zero sum game. We get nothing. It's just, it's just wealth transfer. Well, fuck that. If we get on the other side of that shit, it won't just be a naked wealth transfer. And at least if it is a wealth transfer, it's from the father to his 17-year-old son, like Homeboy was saying. At least it will go to some other white males. At least we know that our money will go to some guys like us, just regular Joes that are down on their luck. Because right now, man, we've really got, we think the Democrats are crazy the way they see things and they're nutcases. Bro, we're fucking insane too. We've been looking at this all wrong and thinking, that the Democrats, they're lost. We can't save that party anymore. Well, dude, we lost the party because we stopped participating in that party. We stopped voting for that party because of Obama. Well, Obama's gone. DEI's gone. All that shit is gone. Me Too is gone. We can get back in there and get some fucking and get some political power back. We have a lot of demographic weight. Well, I mean, I'm not even concerned about the wealth transfers from the billion. I'm just talking about the wealth transfers from guys like me. I don't give a fuck about the billionaires. I really don't. I don't give a fuck about them, man. We're not going to make. We're not gonna. There's nothing we can do that's going to bother a billionaire. We can tax them all we want. It's not going to bother them. It's what I mean. And I'm not saying that to say that we should just tax people all we want, but like those people, I can't. There's nothing that I can't make my life better by making them my enemy. Like that. How is that going to make our lives better? Talking about the gajillionaires, I don't see how. Who gives a shit about those people? There's like 10 of them. Like what I care about is my life and my other white men, my fucking straight white men that are struggling, that are fucking barely keeping their heads above water, that have nothing, they're demoralized, have nothing to live for, like there's no meaning anymore. And nobody, we're just neglected. We're just treated like shit. And I think if our government didn't treat us as like this fucking leper, that some of the young men would stand back up and start doing good again. They would have, it wouldn't seem so bad. I mean, it just seems like, man, we've all but given up. Well, how about trying again? Maybe if we tried again, we could better our lot in life. I mean, does that seem like, am I out of line here? Or am I missing something? Or do you guys see what I'm seeing? Like, hey, we're leaving a lot of untapped potential here. Like whole fucking parts of our government that we just walked away from years ago, and nobody has made an effort to make it work for us. I mean, am I just a nutcase here, or am I seeing potential? Hey, we could potentially have a lot of we could get a lot of return on an investment, ROI, if we just started focusing on the Democrat Party, because all they do is take from us, man. If we could just get them to stop taking from us so much, it would make our lives better. Like, dude, I feel like, that, like, I know, with Iran and stuff, there's some doom and gloom going on in the world right now. Like things aren't looking too good, like in Iran and shit. Like, especially, if you've watched my shows the last few days, we've had kind of a rough week for us and our country, our way of life. But bro, there's good news, man. There is good news. There are there's so much untapped potential for us, for us advocating on our own behalf. there's whole the Democrat Party, we have not been petitioning them. We haven't been lobbying them. We start lobbying, like there's a that to me, that's an absolute white pill, man. That's good fucking news, bro. That there's a lot of ground, a lot of potential that we've been leaving on the table, and that would not take much effort. Like a little bit of bang for our buck would we would actually our lives would get better, man, noticeably better. If we could just get the Democrats to stop clubbing us over the head, my goodness, man, we would be in good shape at least. And what, man, we might be able to even get them to give us things, or to positively help us to actually not just take less from us, but actually get us stuff. Get us benefits, or get us protections, and you know things along those lines. I mean, I just really I see a path forward that leads to a better way of life for us as straight white men. I think there's a lot we can do. There's a lot of room to grow, as it were. We have not hit the glass ceiling, not by a damn sight. And hey, yo, before we've already lost all the jobs and shit because we didn't go to college. We've already lost all that. It's all populated by women, and we're just gonna have to wait for women to fuck it up before we get back in there. But at least with, and it's almost like it's too late, because we don't have the know-how, and we don't. There's no, like, the boomers are dying off. We don't have people to mentor us. But like, that's fixing to happen with the Democrat Party. If we don't get back in there soon, we're gonna be locked out for a long time, I fear. Like, if we don't start getting back in there and having a say in that party, we're going to be locked out for good, I feel like. They're going to be so entrenched in those habits that it's going to be way harder to get back in there. Bro, we could get back in. Right now is the time to strike. Right now, we agree with them on the Jays and the billionaires, because they're only talking about these Jay billionaires. So, hey, if they're talking about fucking these guys over, I'm right there with you. These guys are trying to, bro, they're trying to make it illegal for you to criticize them. Like, on college campuses and shit. Like, no, 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 no. And, so it makes sense for us to team up with the left on that. But also, like, we can get these people out that are trying to oppress us, because like, they're making laws so that, because, like I was saying yesterday, these people they're half of our ruling class. This is our ruling class as Jays. All the professors in academia, they're all Jays. Half of our government is Jays. And we're just supposed to, and then we wonder why our government treats us like shit and doesn't advocate for it. It seems like they don't give a shit about America, and they don't give a shit about us. And matter of fact, they do shit to us that's evil. Like, they do mean stuff to us that actually, it's like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, if we had white men in our government, they would be more hesitant to fuck us over because they're white men. You know what I mean? It's harder to fuck your own people over. But if you're, like, ruling over people that aren't you, or you're ruling over a group that isn't your people, of course it's going to be easier to fuck those people over. Like, that's why it's important that we're represented by white people. That's why it's important that we're ruled by European white people, because these Somalians, if they get in, these other people get into power, they have no problem fucking us over, because they're we're it's not like their kids are white and they're fucking their own people over. You know what I'm saying? So they have no problem just making us the fucking villain and fucking us over around every turn. Well, we need to start getting into those positions, and looking out and making sure that these assholes aren't just fucking us over willy-nilly, because we're not in the conversations that these people have, because it's all fucking women and minorities. So there's no white guy to make sure that they're not screwing us, that they're not neglecting us. Well, we need to get back in there and start advocating on our behalf. Start making sure that we do have somebody looking out for our interests. And bro, we got to start doing it, man. We have got to, and we got to get the word out and shit. And like, I'm trying, like, I really see, like, I see a way forward, and I'm trying to build up an audience, like, so like, I would like to be able to, maybe one day, be able to actually make, enact change in our country. Straight up, just that simple, enact some change. And this is how I've started, like, this is the best. I think this is the best way, the best vehicle for that. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the rant. I just really feel like, that we definitely have some positive work to do. And, hopefully you guys, like I said, I'll be doing this one, the same, probably a midday stream every day during the week, and, as well as in the evening. And, hope you guys enjoyed it. And, like and subscribe if you haven't. And, I'll see you this evening, hopefully, for Nick's show, because he will have a show, I'm sure. And if he doesn't, I'll have a show. So it is what it is. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your, afternoon. And, God bless.